It's Conduit News Radio with Paul Harrell.
Welcome back to the program. Who do we have here? Is this State Representative Kim Hammer, who's got a big race today? Kim, good morning to you. Thanks for calling in, sir.
Good morning. Thanks for inviting me on the show this morning.
Absolutely. So you're state rep for District 28, but you're actually running to be the senator for the larger area. Which district is that?
33.
33. So I would assume that you are wanting people to get out and vote today.
I would appreciate very much to get a vote, not only for myself, but we've got a lot of statewide races that are on the line. We need to have good representation in. So, I would just encourage people to get out and vote, to be actively involved, but also to respect those that paid the price so we can have the freedom to vote. That's the more important motivator, in my opinion.
Wow. Yeah. Very, very true. Very true. Especially in the shadow of the SNL using our combat veterans as punchlines. Hey, let me ask you this. Have you ever seen the nation in your lifetime, Kim, so divided as it is?
I am 60 years old. I was young when going through the Vietnam era, although remember a little bit about it. That was a division that was created by a situation that was happening outside of our borders. But as far as the division that is created by what's happening inside of our borders in my lifetime, no. I think this is, I think that there's an obvious division that's occurring out there. I have my personal opinions as to why it's being created and why it's being caused. But my lifetime, this is the worst I've seen it.
Wow. Well, I know you're excited about serving the people of your district. I know you're excited about the work that you're going to do in the Arkansas Senate. And I just want to say, number one, thanks for running, and number two, I wish you the best of luck, sir, in your campaign for election here. And I know I think the people of your district are going to make the right choice. So,
well, I live by the theory of Romans 13:1, and that is the Lord already knows who's going to be elected. He's already appointed that person to that seat. Run hard, work hard, stay clean. Plan on staying clean too, for that matter. And if He blesses me to be in that seat, I'll be happy to be a servant to the people of my district.
All right, State Representative Kim Hammer, sir, we appreciate you coming on this morning. Good luck to you.
All right, thanks for the opportunity. Everybody go vote.
All right, everybody go vote, and that's what we want to convey today. I saw our whiteboard this morning says, and for the rest of the week, votes have consequences. Votes have consequences. And now I went ahead and I put in the square, you see there, vote. So I don't know. I'm not an artist. I'm trying my best, though. I'm trying my best. Hey, folks, welcome back to the program. We have the candidate for the Arkansas Supreme Court, David Sterling, is back with us. David, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. What's the feeling right now? I mean, I know it's early, but, hey, it's Election Day in America. It's exciting.
Well, it is very, very exciting. It's been a long campaign this whole year and everything, been out on the campaign trail just all over the state of Arkansas. I mean, I feel really good about it right now, but I also know that it ain't over until the last vote is counted. So I'm very cautiously optimistic right now, but I really, really appreciate all the voters of Arkansas being so receptive to my campaign message of judicial conservatism all year, and hopefully we'll bring it home tonight.
Well, I certainly know you've been out there working hard. One of your ads that I've listened to, it is interesting how in Arkansas we don't appoint justices, we vote for them. You make a point to say that in your ads. We vote for our justices here in Arkansas, and I think that's extremely important. I think it's powerful that we get to have a say who's going to sit on the high court in the land, and so people need to take this decision seriously. I'm sure you would agree.
Oh, I totally agree, and I totally support elected judges in the state. I mean, there's a lot of debate as to whether or not that's the best way to do it, but I think taking it to the voters themselves, presenting your message, your judicial philosophy, and letting them choose who they want on the state's highest court, I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, I would certainly agree with that. I want to remind everybody, we've had you on before, David, but one of the things that we talked about was, there are, to me, different judicial philosophies, And so while the Supreme Court race or judicial races here in the state are nonpartisan, there are different ways to look at, let's say, the Constitution, the state Constitution, the national Constitution. How would you describe your philosophy when it comes to that?
Well, I call it judicial conservatism, which is different from political conservatism. I mean, it has to do with your view of the Constitution and how it should be regarded in your decisions. For me, the Constitution is always at the center of everything. I'm an originalist. I'm a textualist. I believe in judicial restraint. I don't think that judges should be legislating from the bench. I should leave that to legislators and the people who elect them to their legislative positions. And, I don't think that my personal opinions on different political issues should really come into play at all. I think that it's really up to the people as far as the laws that the legislature has passed and the Constitution that the people have adopted in our state. And ultimately, at the end of the day, whether I agree with it or disagree with it, the Constitution is what's going to rule at the end of the day.
Yeah. I was actually having a conversation, David, the other day with a friend about conservative versus liberal theology. And I kind of think that if you have a conservative theology from a Christian worldview, then you are more of a literal, a textualist when it comes to interpreting Scripture, right? So it is what it says versus maybe a more liberal theology might maybe add to or take away, depending on, I don't know, the culture of the day. So I think that would also apply, and you can disagree if you'd like, but I think that would also apply to the way we need to apply our laws, because, the Constitution, for example, is it's a document that's 200 plus years old, but it's still, those words still mean the same today that they meant back then.
Well, they do mean the same thing today. And for the people that do believe, I believe that the Constitution is a living and breathing document, but only to the extent that it has amendment provisions within it. So if you want to change the Constitution, you shouldn't do it through judicial fiat. You should do it instead through the amendment process, which is already built into the Constitution itself.
I think that's exactly right. All right, so what are your plans today, David Sterling? I know it's probably going to be a busy day for you. Heading to the polls, going to wave some signs?
I am definitely heading to the polls. My wife and I were waiting till Election Day to actually cast our ballot, so we got to make sure that we actually do that. And I encourage all your listeners out there, if they haven't voted yet, to get to the polls. And, yes, I'll be working the polls all day. I actually had a early morning interview this morning at 5 a.m. on the steps of the state capitol. So you can check my Facebook page and see pics from that event. But, it's going to be from 5 a.m. until 7:30 tonight, and we're going to do a watch party tonight at the Embassy Suites in Little Rock, over at the Athletic Club Grill inside the Embassy Suites in Little Rock. I encourage all your listeners, if they want to come out and celebrate with me, please do that. But yeah, it's going to be between now and then. It's going to be going all around Central Arkansas is about as far as I can reach right now. Going to all the polling locations I can reach. Still, closing it out, talking to as many voters as what I can between now and then. Outside the 100-foot boundary or whatever from the polling locations,
of course.
Keeping it all legal and everything, but just want to be out there and let people know that, I'm taking this all the way to the very end. I'm not going to slow down at all. I got my foot on the accelerator. I'm going to keep it on there until the very end, until the last vote is cast. So
all right.
I really appreciate all the support out there by your listeners and people in Arkansas.
David Sterling, Arkansas Supreme Court candidate. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All righty. Man, I'm telling you, you do have to stay 100 feet away. You got to remember that. From these polling locations, got to stay 100 feet away. Now, not that necessarily matters sometimes to some politicians.